Okay, welcome everybody to another video. Jerry, Martin, and I are discussing the new Xanadu release. So if you're interested, keep watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment. And of course, Jerry, Martin, and I will monitor them after this is posted and reply to all your questions as well. Jerry, can you give a short introduction about yourself?
Yep, thank you, William. So I'm Jerry. I'm a product owner working at University of Birmingham. I've been using ServiceNow for about 7 years now. So obviously working for a customer. So very much involved in kind of managing with business stakeholders around their requirements, also working with developers, really kind of understanding what the value that we can bring using the ServiceNow platform to the organization. So again, I'm very much interested in terms of what Xanadu can bring, some of their new features, especially around the AI and generative AI, that can really kind of improve the overall business efficiency and really kind of give that good customer experience, but also good employee experience as well. And then I'll hand that over to Martin.
Hi everybody, Martin Ivanov here. Currently working as a solution architect with DoItWise, which will soon be Inetum. Previously, I've worked for a customer and for another implementation partner. I'm also a three-time ServiceNow MVP, and in the past, I used to have sleepless night exploring the ServiceNow platform. Currently, I have sleepless night feeding a baby, but I will be soon back on track. And that is why I have not explored the Xanadu release as much as I would like to, but still have some insights to share. But before that, over to you, William, for the introduction.
Yeah, thank you, Martin, and happy to have you here. Hopefully, Jerry and I can share some cool stuff that you haven't read about. That's always nice to see the first reactions on the cool stuff that's in it, right? I'm Willem. I'm a ServiceNow architect at Platformation. Also the architect for what we call the strategic capability group about AI. So when they announced the Xanadu release, Lauren came in roller skating and mentioned there's 350 AI innovations. Yeah, of course, that got me really excited. So also excited to be here with the two of you to talk about that. What they showed about the AI agents here is really let's say a service desk agent, whether it's first or second line, needs to do a lot of repetitive tasks, right? And the promise that ServiceNow made and Bill McDermott is, of course, AI in every corner of your organization, starting with the most interactive one, I think, the service desk. And that AI agent will help a live agent do their work better. So in the background, an AI agent will act as an agent in terms of trying to solve incidents or requests. And the example that they gave is, for example, in a telecom provider, if you have issues with your internet, they need to do a speed test, they need to do all kinds of tests, and that's where that AI agent can help. So in the background, that agent is interacting, and of course it cannot do everything properly. Somebody at ServiceNow mentioned it as a sort of co-pilot, that it flies automatically until it says, hey, these conditions I don't know, and it hands it over to the live pilot. That happens here as well. So for example, if the AI agent thinks, hey, we need to replace the modem of that person, and that person was already working or already had that modem for 3 years, so it's probably already written off. Maybe we can give a new modem for free to solve this issue. And it will ask a live agent if it's okay to do so. But all the prior steps were done by that AI agent. So knowing that, maybe starting with you, Jerry, how would you think your business as a customer, you could use those AI agents working in the background next to the team that you have on the service desk?
If I'm thinking about the higher education environment that we work in, because obviously we deal with a lot of customer queries from our students and our staff. So again, if give an example, if a student was not able to print, because obviously they have to pay for print credits to print. So if, let's say, they're not able to print, and sometimes we get some, I'll give you an example, they've sent something to print, they've gone to the printer, they've obviously paid for that, and guess what, it just spits out blank pieces of paper or maybe jargon information. And one of the things one of the challenges are that currently at the moment, the students would have to go to the tech bar or ring up the service desk and say, I've got an issue with printing. It's just printing black paper. I've got a deadline. I need to hand in my assignment on time. So if we can get AI, one of those agents to kind of help, if they can obviously go to the virtual agent and have a conversation, what that could do is say, we're going to refund you back your print credits. So instead of that manual task that the service desk analyst would have to do, that could be all managed by the AI agent, which then obviously it would ask for maybe approval from the service desk side of things. But if you imagine 5 or 50 of those students having those issues, think about that time saving and that cost efficiency, freeing up the service desk and the service desk analyst to be able to focus on more high value work.
Yeah, and not to mention the students, right? Because you're talking about printing for students, brings back memories where probably the moments where they need to print, maybe that's a research paper that they need to hand in. If that printer is not working, it's not about the time or money they save, but it's also a lot of headaches or nightmares for them if they're not able to hand in the assignments. And of course, advice for me always, never try to print anything last minute. But if I'm honest, when I was a student, a lot of us printed, of course, in the last minute. So indeed, with AI, being able to get them back on track, having that printer maybe restarted again, refund their credits, and off they go. Yeah, that's essential. I understand that. Yeah. And Martin, what about you for your organization? You work for a consultancy firm, maybe for your customers or internally?
Yeah. So I was thinking while we were speaking, we work for multiple customers in different industry environments. So I cannot think of a specific case right now. I'm not allowed to mention it. But thinking on a global scale, on a higher scale, usually one of the biggest expenditures of the companies that we work for is for the workforce, for the agents, for the people. So having these AI agents in place and having the abilities of these agents to train over time and become better and better will free the resources, the people that are locked in these agent positions. It will, of course, not steal their jobs, but allow them to have more time for the meaningful tasks, as Jerry mentioned, and maybe allow them to grow in the corporate ladder and find some more engaging, more things to do that are going to enrich their lives and their experience and bring them to a higher positions. On the other topic, when I was a student, printing was not modern. We were handwriting. No, I'm joking. I'm not that old, but we used to. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, but usually in the universities, with some of the professors being there for 70 years, just before retirement, they do not like the modern stuff. So I had few cases where they didn't want to have the printed assignments, but rather have them handwritten. So I have done this too.
I've seen solutions around it as well, right? Where people hooked up their 3D printer with a pen, just to sort of print out with handwriting. Wow. Yeah, and I think it's an active topic, right? Yeah.
How about you, William? What kind of things in your industry or where you're seeing things that the AI agent can help as well?
Yeah, I think what we see around us in many different companies is that the service desk is under great pressure to help people get back on track, right? So Jerry had, I think, the perfect example for people that have been students. But we have those cases everywhere, right? If you're trying to use an application and cannot get access, and you have to wait in line because the service desk is handling a lot of cases. And I think AI there is key, and we've seen steps progress towards that already, where we saw the machine learning, ServiceNow being able to find the right solution group or assignment group quicker, showing the agents related incidents to help solve it, suggesting knowledge articles that shift left. But this is really the next step, where I think a big part of the service desk will then be augmented by virtual co-workers. I think it's also very brave that they introduced this, because I get that when we talk about AI, a lot of people are also bringing up, will it take away jobs? And I think the stance that ServiceNow takes there says that it's always the humans that will be augmented by AI. So they don't see a service that's completely run by AI. No, it's the AI agents supporting live agents. And of course, I'm curious to see how that looks 2 years or 5 years from now. I think, of course, there will be a strategy that they will automate the boring stuff, and people can do more returning printer credits that might not be as fulfilling as solving some other more head-scratching issues that sometimes pass along the service desk. So having said that, there's 349 more AI innovations in the Xanadu release. I think most of them are under the hood. Maybe to share my experience, but feel free to jump in, Jerry and Martin, if you also experimented with the AI capabilities. But the model behind it seems to have been improved quite a lot. If you're trying Xanadu, the text to code, the summarization, that's become quite an enhancement there. And of course, they also introduced the vertical specific Now Assist. So we already had incident summarization, HR case summarization, CSM case summarization, but you can also have specific for verticals. What do I mean by that? That it allows you to summarize for manufacturing, summarize for the financial sector. That context, that domain-specific context, I think that's also key to support Bill McDermott's dream of having it in every corner of the organization. I think supporting those verticals is key. Maybe hand it over to you, Jerry. Is there anything in the Xanadu release that you think is worth talking about here, that you noticed during the presentation, maybe?
I think one of the things I'm very interested in is we've just recently adopted and the virtual agent to obviously improve customer experience, but also, as you mentioned, the shift left approach. Because obviously what we don't want is students contacting the service desk when, if it's a recurring issue, whether it's, getting password resets or anything that we deemed as just, the usual support is how can we start to leverage generative AI with, large language models, whether, again, can we start to look at how we can integrate with Copilot. So I'm very much interested in that space because I think with the in today's age of generative AI and ChatGPT, where students and are very much familiar with that. I think by having the virtual agent, I think it's it's yesterday's technology, where we're having to configure and create conversational topics. And I think leveraging some of that generative AI going forward, and obviously enabling that within our customer support channels, I think that's going to be a very, very powerful tool that we can start utilizing going forward, because I think that's going to really revolutionize the way that we work, but also, again, how can we support our service desk members of staff by obviously allowing them to have more time to continue to improve their own services, maybe create more knowledge articles, because one of the things I am quite passionate about is you having that data in the platform. Without having that data, like knowledge articles, you're not going to have the generative AI going to be able to generate that content for you, because one of the things we need to be able to build up that knowledge, information and the data within the platform.
Yeah, that's true. Having the data, that single data model on that single platform, I think that's key. And one thing that triggered me, Jerry, is you talk about building it out, the experience. A lot of your end users, the students, are already almost expecting a level of AI, right, that they see in their day-to-day lives. I think that goes for many companies. And I think the next cool thing, and maybe Martin, to also connect it to you, is in Xanadu we have what's called the Now Assist skill builder. And what you can do with that is Now Assist is already cool and powerful, right? It can summarize things, it can generate knowledge articles, resolution notes. A lot of fundamental things are already there out of the box. But what you can also do in its skill builder is pick an out-of-the-box Now Assist skill, fine-tune it, start modifying it, or even from scratch build your own GenAI capability. You can use the Now Assist of the Now LLM, ServiceNow large language model, or any large language model that's supported. I think over 7 models were already supported, like Gemini, like GPT-4o, GPT 3.5, the ChatGPT models. What current GenAI capability would you bring to the platform if it was up to you, Martin?
Oh, that's a challenging one. I don't know, maybe creating ACLs or something like that, because it's having the all of the security requirements in place coming from the security offices of the companies is bringing us to a place where we need to think about the platform security. And one of my favorite places to do this is via the ACLs and the data filtration rules. But that this can go to the wrong direction very quickly if you don't know what to do with the ACLs, how the masking works and all that stuff. So if there is an analysis capability or analysis skill that can help us build a proper ACLs and proper filtering based on a prompt, I would be really happy. And maybe a question back to you: how easy is it to build a skill? Do you need to have a really deep technical background? Can someone without it, or not that deep into the scripting topic, do it? Or you need to be a heavy coder in order to do it?
Yeah, I followed one of the trainings that ServiceNow had on it. There they mentioned, especially for the custom skills, they said you need to be somewhere around the skill level of a data scientist. I'm not sure if I agree with that, and that might be my Dutch nature, right? That we always like to challenge statements. But I think you need a certain level of training. A lot of it you can already benefit by understanding how to write a good prompt, because you can customize a skill adjusting the prompt. I think that already gets you quite far. But of course, the further you get towards that data scientist level, the more powerful things you can do. But I definitely expect that the level of entry will become lower in the future. But currently, I would say it's still quite an expert level that you need. And Martin, maybe jumping off the AI train, because you mentioned ACLs and security, and I think there's also a very cool, very powerful, but quickly becoming confusing as well, as you said, Martin, as security. Um, from Xanadu on, we have deny-based ACLs. So before Xanadu, you always had allow-based ACLs that just said by default you're not allowed access, and if there's an ACL that says you can access, it allows you access. But now you can set up deny ACLs as well, even if there's an allow ACL that allows you to see, let's say, an incident. That deny ACL always overrules it and can still deny you access. I think that's also a very powerful tool in the toolbox. Combine that, of course, with the access analyzer, because if you get those headaches from setting up security, the access analyzer is a powerful tool. And not to talk about this in this call for too long, because I will create a separate maybe blog article or video on those deny ACLs, because again, it's very powerful, but ACLs were already something that you really had to sit down, figure out, especially if it's security, you have to make sure that it's properly set up. And with the deny, there's an additional layer of, I would say, complexity, but also, of course, power to set it up properly.
It is good. It is good that ServiceNow is listening to our voice and the voice of the communities about the difficult things to configure on the platform, and they are investing heavily into making it easier and better and more robust. And you mentioned toolbox. Talking about the toolbox, there is another cool thing in the Xanadu, and this is the ServiceNow IDE and the SDK. This is something that I wanted to talk about because, in my opinion, this is something that will dramatically change the ServiceNow ecosystem, because you all know that there is a huge need for ServiceNow developers that are not present. In the same time, there are a lot of pro code developers that are programming in Node.js, let's say, or Java or Python, and all these people are used to do their daily job, their development work in an IDE. And what is stopping them to transition to ServiceNow was this, they say it, clicking thing, because, in order to make ServiceNow easier for more people, ServiceNow are trying to make it, clickable and no code oriented, but still it can be done now with the SDK and the IDE in a pro code environment. I think that a lot of people will be actually will transition to the ServiceNow development because of this enablement tool. And this is the understanding that I have with the conversation with a lot of pro code developers, because before jumping into the ServiceNow ecosystem, I used to be a developer, pure developer for a while. I completed a scripting academy, and I met a lot of people there. These people are still working, but for them, the development is not click this button, click that button. They want to write code, and now they are allowed to write code into the ServiceNow. So for me, at least, this will be a game changer, and we'll start to see the results quite soon. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree with the pro code development, but also that need is there. But we cannot forget. That's why I love to have Jerry in this call. We cannot forget about the no coders as well, right? And I think what the Xanadu release does is bring those two together, because what we also saw in Vegas was that you can, for example, turn your flow, which is low code / no code, that Jerry and his business developers will set up. You can pick that up and turn it into code, and that's those pro code developers in that environment can pick it up. So Jerry, how do you see that? Do you already collaborate between no code, low code developers and pro code?
I mean, not at the moment. I think in our business, we've got process owners. I suppose, for example, like people working in HR, they will obviously have particular access, particular access to HR modules, but getting very much they manage their process. I think we have something we will probably look towards is citizen developers. So having some governance around, so if we are going to be enabling our business users to start creating those apps, and I know with Create Studio, it will go into an approval. So they create those apps, it would go into approval for the developers, whether it's a group, to actually review those apps. So it wouldn't actually go into the live environment because obviously we need to follow a change request or change management aspect, just to making sure from a technology or developer standardization or standards, to making sure that it is fit for purpose for our users to be using in the business.
Hey, to round it up, I hope the people watching this are now convinced on the Xanadu release. I think we share the excitement of what's to come. If we convince you and you want to upgrade to Xanadu, if it's okay with you, Jerry and Martin, I would like to shamelessly plug something I host together with ServiceNow. It's Tuesday, the 17th of September. So next Tuesday. I'm hoping we publish the video before then. You can join us for an Ask the Expert session on upgrading. I will share best practices, tips, tricks, and tools to help you smoothen your upgrade to Xanadu. We've seen customers go from as long as 4 months upgrades to as low as 2 weeks upgrades. So feel free to join that. And of course, look out for all the cool stuff that's in Xanadu that's coming up.
I'll definitely be there. Cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, looking forward to that, William. And also as well, I think from the following week, I'm also doing a session with Britta, also from the perspective of a platform owner and product owner, in terms of from an upgrade perspective. I know you're covering the technical aspects, but I'm covering more from the from the business side, organizational change management of right, how do we approach an upgrade, because there's a lot of planning involved that would need to take place, because like you said, we're upgrading from a previous instance where we have features that might be deprecated, or there might be new features coming in. So how do we manage that going forward? Because there's maybe training that's involved, there's communication to the business and to the people that are using some of those processes.
Cool. So the 17th, and if you're interested in smoothing the upgrades from a architect and product owner perspective. Thanks all for watching, and of course we will connect next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.